Level 3 is the programme in which they have fairly enchanted mornings in the St David's Hall, and Frank Hennessey and Noreen Bray had an unexpected addition to their audience in the last programme because a whole host of school children who'd been in a concert in the main hall suddenly launched themselves into the audience. One of the guests that Frank and Noreen talked to on stage was Russell Grant, and he talked about an association that he had with a newspaper that many of you will remember called Lefel.
They actually rang me up, and again, wasn't terribly well known by anybody, and they just said, we want to do a piece on who Prince Charles is going to marry. So with the aid of his chart, and also the intuition, what I was talking about, I was able to say, and it was all in print, that Prince Charles would marry a Cancerian girl. He'd already met her. She'll be 10, 12 years younger, and she would be British. Now, if you remember at the time, all the papers were saying it's Astrid, or it's, another European princess.
Right, yeah,
and in fact, the diary columns, ran me ragged and said, oh, no, you're going to be wrong about this one. But of course, then Diana turned up, Cancerian, 10, 12 years younger, British, and I believe that Charles had already met her when he used to visit Sandringham.
But you couldn't possibly have known that. Did you have any inside information? Because
no, not at all, because it was so long before. I mean, when did she eventually come to the public eye? I think it was something like 1981 in the end, wasn't it? So it was at least 2 years, or at least 2 years, say 18 months beforehand. So that obviously made me think to myself, aha, there is something in this. But the main thing about astrology is to understand what it is all about. There is a lot of ignorance with subjects. I mean, people, when I came up here today, they're holding out their palms and say, read this. And you're not a palmist. It's a very different subject to palmistry or even being a psychic. And I believe that astrology is advantageous to people for self-discovery. I think if we know and understand ourselves better and the way we work and the way we act, we can lead a much more fulfilling life. We can get away from depression. We can get away from all of those things that perhaps bog us down by just that little bit self-analysis of our own potential.
You made an amazing prediction last year about one of the biggest successes that Britain has ever produced in the pop world, Wham!
Oh, yes.
And at the time that you made the prediction, was it last summer, I think it was, they were at the height of their career, wasn't they?
Well, it was actually even before that, because I recorded a show called Razzmatazz, which was a pop programme, and that was way back in the, goodness me, that was actually January recorded it, and it went out in March. And I said that the boys would make a final record, probably around Christmas, and they would split not long afterwards. Now, I believe this has all happened exactly, because their last record at Christmas was I'm Your Man. Then, of course, it's been announced they've split. And the interesting thing from that, the Daily Mirror ran a story 2 weeks after Razzmatazz and said that the promotions manager has said, this is a silly prediction, and I'll give Russell £1,000 if it happens. Well, we're still waiting for him to pay up, because I'm going to give £1,000 to British Leukemia. So we are just now waiting for the money.
Oh, Mr. Russell Grant there. If he can tell me the horse that's going to win the Grand National, I'll read his column. Is that a fair bet, Russell? I've never yet met an astrologer who forecast any horse races correctly.